There is the Gaylord. I've made a dent in it. I'm trying to finish it out today. This light sucks because of the sun coming in. I don't know how much talking I'm going to do. This is kind of like live stream without much talking. So I don't know how interesting it's going to be. Hopefully you can hear me. It's always fun to find a completely destroyed CD. So basically, I just pull them out of the Gaylord and just stack them in my arms. Put them here, which is another Gaylord, but I use as kind of like a table, and then I sort them here. So barcodes up, one pile, and then there's another pile. So I'll make 3 piles. One is barcodes up, so that I can scan for FBA once I'm done sorting, and then another one is one's either without barcodes or that they have the barcodes, the BMG Club Edition barcodes where I can't actually scan it. I have to look it up manually basically, or use a voice activated search. And then the other one is for ones that are busted or aren't apart, or loose CDs, loose cases. I put that in a box over there. And then I have a pile over here for like audio books and stuff like that. I'm not checking to see if they have CDs. I'll do that after I've scanned them, and if it shows up that it's worth sending into FBA, then I will, and then I'll look to see if the disc is in there, if the disc needs to be resurfaced, or if it's in good condition. And then when I see ones like this that I already know I can't sell FBA or merchant fulfilled or individually on eBay, then I'll put it to the side. This one I can put in a Soundtracks lot. But I see a ton of these. Kind of what I did with this country one. I don't know. Oh. I guess that's DVD. So I make my stack, put it nice and aligned as best I can, and then I put it over here. I make big, tall stacks of the CDs with the barcodes up so that after I'm done, completely done sorting the Gaylord, I can just go through and pull them off and start scanning. So if you, I see there's one person watching, thank you. This is mostly going to be for later on when people come and watch it, and it's not going to be, as you can tell, this is basically like live stream, just me working. I'm not going to be talking too much, but I haven't made a video in a really long time, probably 2 or 3 months at least, and I just wanted to make one because I kind of missed making videos, even a live stream. I missed that, interacting with everybody, and yeah, so that's about it. I'm still working at it, trying to get through all these CDs, and so like I said, I find audiobooks and I put them to the side because I'll look up the audiobooks individually. For FBA, I'll scan them, and then the ones that I find, I'll make sure they have all the discs and the discs are in good condition, and the ones that are not any good, I'll look them up on eBay. Sometimes I can sell them individually on eBay, and then after that I'll just sell lots of audiobooks, which really varies. I mean, this last one I didn't make any money off of, basically barely, I broke even basically selling some audiobook a lot, and sometimes I'll make 10, 15 bucks or more, just depends. Quite a few don't have any barcodes, or don't have barcodes that I can scan. So like here's another one, Bocelli one, that I know is not worth me looking up. So if you can see, you see the boxes over here? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 boxes. Those are all ones that, CDs I've already gone through. Those are ones that I've already gone through, and so went through it for Amazon, FBA, Merchant Fulfilled, and then I went through it for eBay. And those are ones I'm going to have to sell somehow. I was lotting them up for like around 100 of them together and selling them on eBay, but I wasn't making too much money at that, and it was taking a little bit too much time. So what I'm probably going to do is do some sort of like swap meet, yard sale type of a thing, and see how many I can sell. If it works out well, then I'll do that more consistently. But I need to find a way to make more money off them. Even if I can make $1 a CD, that's good. So we'll see. Well, you're not the only one here now. There's 4 of you here. You're the only one leaving a what do you call it? You're commenting, but that's cool. Glad that you're here. I think that's why people like the live streams, because anything could happen, number one, and number two, it feels like, oh, you're peeking into someone's actual life without the video being edited and taking everything out that the person didn't want you to see, which is the danger of doing live video, right? Because you never know what's going to happen. Nothing too bad, but you never know. I love to make videos, edited videos. Just haven't done it in a while. But I promise, I plan on doing it again in the future. So, I've gone through 2, the last 2 Gaylords I went through of CDs, I was able to, let's see, the first one I pulled out, or I sent in 217, so about 200 were from the Gaylord. And then I had some other books in there that I had bought at some thrift stores and I think at a book sale. But it was about 200. And then I just sent another shipment in, yesterday? Or the day before? And it was 221 out of one Gaylord. Let's see. Yeah, they were all CDs. There were a couple. There was like 6 audiobooks too I sent in for FBA. Boy, that's really bright. So yeah, so that was good. You know, I probably get about I would say like 1,800 to 2,000 CDs in one Gaylord if it's all CDs. So, you know, 200, that's about 10% for FBA alone. And then what's left, there's always some that go merchant fulfilled. Not that many. I'm not too big into merchant fulfilled. I prefer, they kind of, basically I only want to do merchant fulfilled if it's going for, if the lowest merchant fulfilled price is definitely like at least $10. Otherwise I don't think that it's really worth it for me. I'll just try to sell it on eBay if it's worth it. Versus merchant fulfilled, but I do pull out some, maybe a dozen or so, depending. Here's another one, Titanic. I see a ton of those. And then I'll do it on, you know, on eBay. So about 200 out of roughly 1,800 to 2,000 CDs for FBA is pretty good. I mean, 10%, that's great. And I'm also being a little stricter. I don't know if I'd say, well, yeah, I guess a lot more strict, sort of, for FBA. I don't want to send in just anything. I want to make sure it's going to sell. So yeah, I'm a little more strict about that. The other thing I really recommend if you're doing bulk is you want to do one part of the process at a time. So sort first, whether you're getting Gaylords or whether you're getting like going around buying bulk books or bulk CDs or bulk DVDs or whatever. You want to sort first, and then after that scan. You don't want to pull it out and scan unless you have a conveyor belt and you got a bunch of people working for you, even a couple people, and you're pulling the books out or pulling the CDs and immediately scanning. Sure. If you have people doing both, pulling them out, and if you have a Gaylord dumper, that whole thing, or maybe if it's not Gaylord, it's just in boxes, so it's a lot easier to deal with, to take out, then you can pull it out, scan it, put it to the side. But for me it makes more sense to just do one part of the process at a time. So I timed myself on the last Gaylord I did, and it took a little over 3 hours, about 3.5 hours for me by myself to sort one Gaylord of CDs. My idea was to sort this one today, but I don't know if I'll be able to because I'm making this video and that sort of thing. So, but I'm gonna try. So these are all without barcodes or barcodes that I can't scan, like these. Those long, thin ones, those club edition ones. CDs are selling well for me on Amazon, so I still have a good sell-through rate, and they're small and lightweight. So for me, CDs are doing well. I'm still gonna I'm gonna get more back into books, but I'll still keep doing CDs. Mark says VHS sells well now. Yeah. Funny is I just found I went to a thrift store this morning and I found a VHS tape. It was funny enough, it was the very first one that I actually pulled off the shelf because it stood out. It had that sort of feel like it was from a long time ago and it might be rare. And it's called Sing, and it's some musical movie. I don't know if it was the 80s or I think it was the 80s when it came out. But it's only available on VHS, which I found out later. But I looked it up on Amazon and all the prices are $100 and up. And then I looked at the Keepograph and it hasn't sold for $100, but it sold like a little over a month and a half ago for like $60 something, and then it sold, before that it sold for $50. And then you had to go back a little further and it sold for like, when the price dropped to about $25 at the lowest used price, it was sold like 4 or 5 copies. So the sweet spot is probably right around $30 or so if I do FBA on that. Because I looked on eBay and there's only a couple for sale. Like 2 or 3 of them are over $100. They're like $140 or something like that. And there's one that's from Canada that's going for like $25. And there's only one that's sold in the last few months for, I think it was $22, $23. So I figure if I list it for $35, maybe I could probably list it for $40 and see on Amazon that I could probably sell it. It's the first, what do you call it? First VHS tape I've looked at in a long time. I don't have any more. I don't believe I have any more in my inventory. So yeah. So the other thing is, once I get down to like half or a little less than half of the Gaylord, I can actually, basically when I can't really reach down and grab them anymore, I'll just pull the Gaylord over and just dump it out onto the floor. And then I'll just grab them all, you know, finish it up that way, which works out pretty well. No, I didn't hire anybody yet. I think the only 2 positions that I would actually hire for would be someone to help me sort. So basically, when I get you know, 3 or 4 Gaylords or whatever, they would help me just sort all of them really quickly. Probably more like the CDs to sort really quickly, but I guess you could do the books as well, because the quicker I sort it, the quicker I can get through it. That's my huge problem doing this by myself, is I have to do everything. And even though with the CDs I've figured out, or I've been able to, you know, sort it pretty quickly within about 3 hours, it just, you know, it takes time. So the quicker I can do that. So that's one possibility. And then the only other one would be someone I would hire to help me list on eBay. Because I'm like, I'm still selling on eBay, but I have like probably over 1,000 items that I found that I can sell, or that I feel, that I want to put up for sale. And I'm trying to focus on building back up my FBA inventory, so I'm not putting as much effort into that, and they're just kind of sitting in boxes. They are sitting in boxes. In my house, I've got like 6 boxes. Basically, what I want to do is I want to get my FBA sales back up a lot, and once I have that back up to where I want it, then I mean, ideally what I'd like to do is have that like warehouse / office space, and I know of some which is like around $1,100 a month. And from there, I can get serious about hiring somebody. Anyway, that's the idea. Any other questions, comments? None. And I know once I hire somebody that actually does a good job, I'll wonder why I didn't do it sooner, and how I ever survived without that person or people. It's always that first one that's tough, at least for me. So I've sent in a little over 400, like 430 or so items to FBA since, since May 23rd. Before that, I had sent in another 200 about a month before then. So my FBA inventory got down to about 700 items. And I actually, with the free, what's it called? The free removals, I removed 2 times. I removed over 100 items. So over 200, maybe 250. And I had them sent to my house. I'm still getting some from this last removal, or this last batch. I still have a bunch more to come. And with those, I'm just looking them up to see if I can sell them on eBay individually, and if I can't, I can put them into lots. And aside from that, I'm just putting them aside with the other CDs I have to sell in some type of swap meet, yard sale type of thing that I'll do at some point here in the summer. Does UPS pick up at your storage? No, I just, once I scan them, I bring them to the house, and that's where I list them. That light is so bright. Oh, here's a good idea. That's better. Yeah, once sorry, trying to make it less bright. Once I scan them here, I put them in the car, I go home, and that's where I list them. So here I just basically, the way I do it is, because I put a price on them with a Post-it, so that when I go to list them, I just put the price in real quick. But I also put if I need to resurface them, so at home I'll resurface them, and then I'll list them at home, get them all together, and I'll just take them to UPS because it's not that, I mean 200 is not that many. I'm getting splits between about 4 or 5 warehouses, depends. I only send 5 or more to one warehouse, otherwise I just put those to the side and try them the next time. Sometimes even while I'm listing, I'll put them to the side. I use Exceller list. You can put them onto the side in this like holding area, and then I'll come back to them at the end and I'll try them again. And a lot of times they'll just go right to one of the warehouses I'm already sending items to, or they won't, but a lot of times they will. And then I'll just be able to send those off, and I won't be left with too many that I couldn't send in. This last time it wasn't that many. It was probably less than 10 that I wasn't able to send in because they wanted to send them off to another warehouse. Probably a lot, probably like 5 or 6. I don't think UPS would pick up here though. I mean, I guess they would if I set it up. So I handle everything twice. Well, yeah, because I don't have a setup here to list. So I sort and scan here, and then I make sure that that the cases are all fine, they're not cracked. Replace the cases. And then I go home, and then I list. Once I get them all, once I go through the whole entire Gaylord, and I have however many I have, which lately has been a little over 200, and I have those at the house, and then I'll list and put labels on them and put them in boxes. Otherwise, I would have to have my Gaylords at my house because I can't list here. How much are you paying per CD on average? Cheapest I can get them is 25 cents. From the Gaylord, I mean, it's like 5 cents or so per CD, roughly, because there's so many in the Gaylord. Out in the wild, I just went to a place that sells them, a thrift store that sells them for 45 cents, but for the most part, CDs in thrift stores are over $1, usually like $1.50, $2, anywhere between $1 to $2. But in terms of the Gaylords, they're super cheap because I buy so many. Also, what I'll do is I'll sell lots of individual CDs and DVDs on eBay, and I'll make a little bit of money off of that, which is nice because otherwise I would just have loose CDs that I can't sell. You know, that they're either just loose, so they don't have a case, or it's missing the artwork or whatever it may be. And so I'll just sell them as a bunch, like several hundred, and make a little money off of those. Doesn't take too much time. I'll just let them stack up as I go through the Gaylord, and then sell. You know, I've sold as many as like 400 or 500 in a lot, but usually I get hundreds together, and then I'll do an auction, and I'll make It depends. I mean, I've made as much as like 50 bucks, sometimes a little less, but I mean, it's extra money. And I find so many Christmas CDs, it's crazy. And some of them I put aside to send in, the good ones, the ones that actually sell a lot of copies during the holidays, you know, November, December, a little bit into January. I put those aside and in my house, and I'll hold on to those and I'll send them in later in the year because a lot of them, it doesn't make sense to send them in now. They're just they might sell, but they're not going to sell potentially. They're not going to sell as quickly, and they're probably not going to sell for as much. A lot of them, the prices go up starting in November and definitely in December. So I hold also. I've been holding some Halloween stuff. I find Halloween CDs. Find random stuff like this, which I've sold some of those before. Crying Game. I don't know if any of you guys saw that movie. So my guess is that whether you're watching this live or later on, you're probably tired of seeing me not talk and just kind of work. So I'll probably end the video now. Unless it's really fascinating, you guys can let me know. I'll just keep it on for a little longer. If you have questions, let me know. I don't know if I have answers, but I'll try. You know, there's been a lot of changes. I mean, not a lot of changes, but there's been... I mean, there has been changes, literally, with FBA, with the fee increases. But, you know, nothing's really that different. It's just a little more expensive, and you just have to be smarter about what you send in. Don't think of Amazon as a storage service, but think of it as temporary storage. Or don't think of it as long-term storage, think of it as temporary storage. So you can sell your items, unless of course it's a high-priced item that's going to sell within 6 months. Otherwise, don't send it in. You can do merchant fulfilled. You can do eBay. Stephen King, Blood and Smoke. I never heard of that one. There's a good amount of audiobooks in here. Oh, hey Robert, how you going? How you doing? How you going? Can't speak. I need to eat soon. Sorting yourself. I'm still working on things, but have my 0 to 90 days stocked to 70%. Ah, okay. That's good. So Robert, are you sorting, are you still doing it by yourself? I know you were doing Gaylords of books, or are doing Gaylords of books. Are you still sorting by yourself as well? And do you, if you are, do you have a dumper, or how do you do it? Yes, I recently had a trial on an employee and have another coming up. No dumper, but I am working on that. On an employee. Oh, so you had them actually come in and work with you? They actually worked a little bit, and you're having another one come in to have two, or to see which one's better? And no dumper, so do you have a way of like, do you have like, I mean, when it's the thing with CDs is I can, like I said earlier, when it gets to about half or a little less than half, and it's harder for me to pull them out, I can actually physically dump over the Gaylord because it's not nearly as heavy. But when it's books, I mean, it's so heavy even when there's not that many down there. Do you like have a way of dumping them over once you get down to a certain level, or do you just, I don't know, have like a ladder or something, or how do you jump in there? Ah, climbing in. I see. I find stuff like this, God of Wonders, and this kind of stuff, I just look it up just to see. And this one totally looks like it's, oy, like it's not a super well-known guy, but you never know. It has a barcode. I find stuff in other languages, like this kind of stuff. And honestly, I've been piling a lot of the different, like Chinese, Japanese. I found Vietnamese stuff, or in Vietnamese language CDs, and mostly CDs, but some other stuff too. And I guess I'm just thinking like maybe whenever I do like a sale, like a yard sale or swap meet or something, I'll bring them, and who knows, maybe somebody will be interested. I have a small ladder. Are you doing any books still? I haven't bought a Gaylord of books in a little while because I got into the CDs because I like the size and the weight and that sort of thing. But I'm gonna get back into the books as well, just because. I mean, I like books and I kind of miss going through the books and finding all the cool stuff. And I mean, honestly, like Robert, you're part of that. The what's his name, Greg Murphy. You know, when he does the call or the video chat on Mondays, and how he talks about opening a bookstore and that sort of thing. I mean, that's what I would like to do. I would like to head in that direction, and I think books are more interesting to me. I mean, I still want to sell CDs and I still want to do that, but I think that I want to get more back into books. So my idea is to eventually get out of the storage unit and get to a smaller warehouse, which I've already found these smaller warehouse spaces that have an office as well, have a roll-up door, in like a community of them, and with dumpsters and everything, which is a little over $1,000 a month. And try what other people have been doing, which is using part of that space to have book sales. Your sales have been awesome with books. Yeah. No, I'm definitely not running from FBA. I mean, I would say that I took a little break and tried out eBay, and I'm still doing eBay, but um, yeah, I definitely think FBA is great. I just haven't been doing books as much. I've been getting some at thrift stores, and I went to a book sale recently, but um, I want to get back into them. Yeah, uh, I guess I get kind of spoiled with the small size of the CDs and all that. But regardless, so my question to you would be so are you doing a lot of merchant fulfilled as well, or are you not doing merchant fulfilled? And even after merchant fulfilled, are you doing any eBay? Are you just mostly the duds or the ones you can't deal with? Are you donating a lot of them? Are you recycling them? How are you handling the quantity? Because that was my other big issue with books is the majority of them in one Gaylord I can't sell on Amazon, and it's gonna have to be another outlet for them. I mean, I was even thinking about that guy. There's a couple guys that do like the auctions through Facebook Live. I think that was a cool idea. I watched a couple of those, and it seems kind of fun. Just a little bit, a lot of logistics to it. Doing eBay with lots. Okay. So, do you find on eBay with the lots, it's by category and by like category, genre, and by author, I assume is what you're mostly doing. And then, because I've listed some, like I sold the 4 Twilight books. It sold pretty quickly within a couple days. Didn't make that much money off of it, a little over $1, like $1.50 a book or something. But I don't mind. I mean, if I found a ton of them, I'd sell them all, you know, for sure. Uh, do you find like you have to there's certain genres that you like, or are you trying all kinds of genres as long as it's the same category, the same author kind of a deal? Or are you sticking to certain genres, and are you finding that you have to list a certain amount before you start to have like a lot of you have a higher sell-through rate basically? Because, you know, book lots take up a lot of space and all that. I don't know. Oh, this is a disaster. Whoops. Whoa. The more specific, the better. Okay, so your supplier takes back your duds, the ones that you can't do on Amazon or eBay. Is that because they then turn around and recycle them? But what is the benefit to them? Or I just wonder. I mean, I could try the supplier I have to see what they say, but I don't think they would take back my duds. And I don't think so. Dylan asks, what's up, Dylan? Do you sell CDs primarily on eBay or Amazon? At this point, my focus is FBA, as in I'm trying to make as much money as I can off of them on Amazon, but I do sell or list quite a few. I mean, I have over 400 items on eBay right now, which is not a ton because I'm doing it by myself. If I had someone listing for me, I would probably have a couple thousand listed. So I can sell a lot more of the non-FBA ones, the ones that I can't make money on FBA on eBay for sure. And then I'm finding out what are the good CD lots. Some of the good categories, some categories that are working for me. Try to get really niche with those. So he says, I've been crushing it on eBay. Whoops. Higher rank ones sell surprisingly well on eBay for me. Higher rank. Oh, so you mean, yeah, like high rank, like hundreds of thousands sale rank. Let's say 500,000 sales rank on Amazon is doing well on eBay. Yeah, and I find that I do well with those as well. So I'll find ones that are really specific, like heavy metal or punk or jazz or whatever it is, something that is a little more rare, and I'll put it up on eBay, and I'll do well on some of those. A lot of them definitely over $10, and I've sold a lot for over $20 too. Well, not a lot, but some. Yes, they. Robert says yes, they monetize them elsewhere. It's a great situation. I'm producing about a full truck of duds per month. Yeah, I guess it's worth it for me to ask. Um, I don't know. It's worth a shot because that's a big one for me is how to deal with a lot of those extra books. Because the CDs aren't as bad. I mean, they're starting to pile up for me, but they don't take up as much space, not as heavy. But books, even just one Gaylord, I was having to donate a ton of them. Well, I'll definitely, once I start ordering more books, I'll try to do more lots. I have a question, Robert. Do you do, well, I don't know if you know the percentages, but are a lot of your eBay lots fiction or most of them nonfiction? Do you have a good mixture? Because I have a whole stack of fiction books over here. A lot of, well, soft cover and hardcover, but a lot of them are like James Patterson or, here, let me show you. Check this out. So, I mean, James Patterson, John Grisham, I don't even know who these people are. Yeah. And I would love to, I would love to sell them. I mean, even if I made like $1 or $2 a book, as long as I could actually sell them, if it was worth the effort. Because the thing is, like, there are some that have the same author. Like, there's some James Patterson, maybe like 6 or 7 or whatever. But a lot of them are different authors. They might be the same, similar genre, like mystery or thriller, or, you know, whatever. But it seems like the best thing to do is when they're the same author, not just the same genre. Is that true? If you were closer, I could hook you up. I have a good outlet other than my supplier. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm confused. You're saying that you have another book supplier who's on the West Coast, or he's where you are, or there where you are. Oh, are you saying for me to send it to them? Sorry, I'm a little confused. You're saying that for me to send my duds to them? Yeah, that would be, if that's what you're saying, that's too far. That wouldn't make sense. I can sell dud Gaylords on the East Coast. Oh, I see. Ah. Yeah, it would be way too expensive. Do you, Dylan Patrick? Just not the missing slipcase. Um, Dylan Patrick, is that, you talking about books? Is that an author? You know, here's one I found, Rosetta Stone, which I know is a really, really popular language learning software and company. Now I get freaked out on eBay because I sold a good amount of the Beachbody stuff like P90X, what's that guy? Insanity, that kind of stuff. And one time I got like P90X or Beachbody contacted me saying I wasn't allowed to sell that, and I got a little freaked out about it, and so I no longer sell Beachbody on there, even though there was tons of other people selling it, and there's no way they're contacting all of them. So then I look at Rosetta Stone and I wonder if that's a similar type of situation. Oh, sorry. Dylan. Oh, my bad. Sorry, Dylan. I think the problem with me is I'm getting hungry and my brain's not functioning. So, sorry about that. Uh, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, then I won't even bother with Rosetta Stone on eBay. I'll just maybe try it locally. Oh, another question. If anyone here, Robert or anybody else, do you guys do any? I don't know if Robert, you have the time to fool around with it because you're doing, Amazon, FBA, and eBay. But if you use any of the local stuff like specifically Facebook Marketplace, I know there's Craigslist and I know there's also like OfferUp and stuff, but I've heard a good amount of people talking about Facebook Marketplace as a place also to sell, potentially sell whatever, I don't know, not just media, but wondering if it works at all for any type of media. I mean, I guess the problem is though, then you gotta, if you have a location, if you have a warehouse, then you can say, come to me and sell it. But yeah, wondering if any of you guys use that. Another one which I just, oh, here we go. Ba ba ba. Uh, crap. I'm sorry, man. Is that your name? I don't even want to try Musashi-san. I'll mess it up. But Mr. M says I sell PX90 Insanity all the time. I sell individual discs only though, not the whole sets. Oh, really? So you haven't had any problems individually? Okay. Okay. Dylan says I source from Facebook Marketplace all the time. So is that for books? Are you talking about or CDs? You sell your duds in bulk on there as well. You're talking about CDs or books? Because, well, both. I mean, and do you mean like, are you doing just, oh, I've got 100 or 200 CDs or books, all types? Or are you doing like by genre? Are you saying, oh, I've got 40 fiction, mystery books, or I've got 40 rock albums, or I don't know. How are you going about that? Fluffy. Fluffy goes to school. Both books, CDs, DVDs. Also, 100 CDs for $50 cash. Are you serious? Wait a minute. Okay, you got to tell me about this. You don't tell me where you live or anything, but I'm just curious. Like, do you live in a bit like in a highly populated area? First of all, which I do, like millions of people um, within 30 miles. I mean, I'm like downtown LA is like 30 miles away or so. So I'm within millions of people. So $150, I can't even get for 100 CDs on eBay. I'm happy if I get on auction. I'm happy if I get $10, plus shipping. They pay for shipping. But are these CDs specific genres or are they general? And also, are the cases busted up? So I'm just gonna grill you with questions right now if you don't mind. Not gonna say anything. Okay. Oy! I live in middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. Flea markets everywhere. By the way, I lived in Pennsylvania as a kid, briefly as a kid, but that was a long time ago. People will pay me $50 for 100 and try to get $2 at the flea market. Wow. I wonder if that has to do with where you live, if there's just less people. I don't know if I could do that here. I could try. There's so many resellers though, and there's just a lot of people. Might not be able to do it here. But oh, okay. I throw away the ones without cases or busted cases. I see. Wait, and you're doing it... Are you doing general, like all different types of music? 100 CDs of all different types, general genres, or are you putting them together in genres? Because honestly, like, I mean, I'd rather do local if I could put together, 50 rock CDs, 40 alternative rock CDs, 30 jazz CDs, 100 classical CDs, I find a ton of classical. And even if I didn't make $50, if I was making like, I don't know, $25, I keep all the money. I don't have to ship it. I don't have to worry about it getting opened, which has been happened in the mail, which has happened to me a lot. Yeah. Oh. Oof. Holy crap, there's 8 of you. Okay. That way, that way I can get rid of them. Well, I'll try it out. Wait, so... Oh, Facebook Marketplace. Okay. So you usually just like meet them at your place, or do you like meet them at some location where you do the exchange? So here's another. I believe it's in Vietnamese. Whoops. Do I do I ever do fill a bag library sales? Yes, I just went to one a couple weeks ago, and I was surprised by how many people were actually there. I need to get there a little earlier, but there was a lot of people ahead of me. But most of them were not resellers. But there was one guy in particular who went after the CDs before me, but I was still able to get to a good amount of them. I just pulled them as many as I could, or the ones that looked good, and took them home. And I found a decent amount that I could send into FBA, and a lot of them were in really great shape. So I used to go to a lot more book sales, but I don't now because I got into bulk. But at any rate, yes, they're really great because, especially for CDs, if they have CDs and it's a bag sale, oh, you can just grab them all. And I think it's like the best deal. Books are a little different because they're a lot bigger, a lot heavier. You don't want to necessarily take all of them. Just take some, the ones that potentially make sense. But if you're doing like lots, then it would make sense to do library sales. You know, this is like, I feel like doing Gaylords, and I'm sure Robert can understand this too, it's like a glimpse into people's private lives. I mean, not like their whole private life, but just kind of how they function, how they think, or maybe more of a glimpse into people's the way that they just kind of go about things. I mean, these are all the thin, slim cases, and this is clearly, as I've never seen these before. I mean, I've seen slim cases, but I haven't seen it like this, where they took out the back artwork, they took it all out of the normal CD, and they put the CD and the insert, or the front artwork, into the slim case, probably just because it's thinner and takes up less space, and I guess they didn't care about the back art. And I guess that's how they had their collection, for less space, I guess. So now I have these without the back art, which means I don't want to send them into Amazon, but I've got a couple options where I can look them up, the ones that look promising on eBay, and I can see if it's worth selling them without that back artwork. Or last case, or last scenario is I just put the CDs, pull the CDs and put them into what do you call them? Into a CD lot. Or actually I can do, without the back artwork, I can actually put them into their own genres. So it would be like, oh, if this one's rock, or this one's jazz, or this one's karaoke, or, you know, whatever it is. Yeah, personal letters, mails, even oh, I haven't found a diary, but I have found personal photos. I found a few risque ones. They look like they were from like the 90s, with like clearly a boyfriend or husband took a picture of some woman who was in like lingerie or something. Uh, just some random photos of like people at a party. But the photos are older. And I haven't found any money, but yeah, I guess I haven't. But just random stuff, letters, and yeah, personal notes. But just funny to see it's just interesting to see how people treat their stuff. And clearly they didn't want their stuff anymore, or they just digitized it. If and when I get a bookstore up and running, I'll probably have like a wall of stuff that we found in Gaylords and in books and whatever it may be. It's some of it can be I mean, without, you know, without like addresses or actual too personal, you know, things. But if there's anything interesting or whatever, maybe like a historical type of thing. Like I found like a receipt for a book I found from like the 1960s or 70s or something like that, and that's pretty cool to see how much things cost. And it's just, you know, it's from a long time ago, so. I know, Robert, you said that you had... Oh, here we go. I have artwork on the walls here at the warehouse, all from Gaylord's. Last edition was the Smurfs canvas. That's cool. Yeah, I seem to find way more cool stuff in book Gaylords than in CD Gaylords. Yeah. People don't, people kind of treasure their books a little more than the CDs. Oh, I was curious because you said you had, let me see, go back here on what you said. You said you have another guy, Robert, coming up to try out. I mean, a potential employee. So are these people from your own like family or friends or personal network, or did you like put an ad out on Craigslist or on Indeed or I don't know, one of those places? Because I know a lot of people talk about using your personal network first, but. And also, if this is a person that, wasn't someone you knew already, did you have to go through, did you actually interview a bunch of people to find the people that actually you tried out? And also, why didn't the person work out? Were they, weren't willing to work, or what was that about? Another one, the best of hits. I don't even know how to pronounce that. It's Vietnamese though. So if anybody's watching this is Vietnamese and knows what's worth money in Vietnamese music, then let me know. If you're watching this later on, let me know. And also where to sell it. Maybe I should try Facebook Marketplace with that. We'll see. Personal network. I could not see him becoming as fast as I need. I think it takes a person with a faster metabolism. Yeah. It's true. Whoa. Oh. Look at Ricky Martin. When was this? 1991. Check that out. It says Ricky Martin. Does that look like Ricky Martin? I didn't know he had that kind of hair. Ugh. Of course, the CD is not the right CD. Look at that. Well, that sucks. Also, I see some of these old covers, and a lot of times I can't. The CD's not in there, or it's too damaged, or whatever, and I'd like to make a wall of some of that artwork. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. So you have potentially a steady flow of potential employees. Definitely sorting, whether it's books, Gaylords of books or CDs. It's hard work in so much as it's tedious. It's kind of boring, but someone has to do it, right? You've been doing it. I've been doing it, so. Okay guys, my battery, I even have an extra battery plugged in and I'm down to 22% on my phone, and this has been an hour and 16 minutes. So I'm really happy that any of you guys showed up to watch. And I'll hopefully be making some more in the future. But I appreciate talking to Robert and Dylan and everyone else about helping me out or hopefully helping you guys out. So that's one thing I really enjoy about this is connecting with people and they're doing the same thing as me and trying to figure out how we can improve, how we can sell more, basically. So I made a bit of a dent while talking a lot, but probably not going to finish that today. But I'll try to finish it by most of it today and then the rest of it tomorrow so I can get to scanning it. The scanning part is takes a little bit more time because there's a lot more moving parts, and when I find something I got to make sure and I got to price it and replace the case. Yeah, so it takes a little bit more time when I get to the scanning part, but basically within about a week, if I focus on it, I can do one whole Gaylord for FBA and then have everything else. Like over here, all these CDs I already went through for FBA. So that's what was left of one Gaylord. These are all CDs that did not make sense for me to do FBA or merchant fulfilled. And I have not gone through them for eBay. So there's probably a good amount of valuable stuff in there that I could sell individually on eBay. But what I realize is I want to try to get through this stuff and get the FBA stuff out as soon as I can. And then, then I can look more into the eBay side. Yeah, only 8 more hours to go. All right, he too. All right, guys. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. And guys, keep it up. Keep up the hard work. See you later.